to the Think Loud Crew podcast, 3 moms getting real with parenthood, relationships, and the WTF moments of our daily lives. My name is Cheyenne.
My name is Shanan. And my name is R.
Today we are going to talk about postpartum and the 4th trimester. So after we did the episode about Ace's arrival, I feel like we've gotten an influx of questions about how do we deal with postpartum and not, and also like if we can touch on the 4th trimester. I just want to start off by saying like I guess for all of us, is that when we talk about postpartum, we're not necessarily talking about postpartum depression. So we will clarify when that comes into play versus like postpartum just meaning like recovery and after you
deliver or whatever.
Right.
That may mean.
Yeah. How do you guys want to start?
Do you want to, since you're still in your postpartum recovery with Ace, I think it'd be really cool to kind of share your journey now, and then we can kind of go back a little bit.
Back in time. Yeah. So for Ace, I really, really prepared myself for postpartum recovery and for postpartum depression in a preventative way, I think. So I had a really, really hard recovery after I had Ryder because I had a really intense delivery and I was not prepared for the recovery process. I didn't know how intense the recovery was going to be, but I also didn't expect to have such a rough delivery with her. When I say rough, I pushed with Rye for 2.5 hours and I tore a lot. So I couldn't sit down. I couldn't walk normally. Kyle would like have to lift me off the couch to be able to get up, and I would be on like 4 or 5 pillows. Everything hurt. Literally everything hurt. I would cry, like sob if I had to like sneeze or cough or anything like that. It was just like
she was avoiding taking a poop.
Yeah, I literally felt like the pressure, everything, tension. It was so bad, and I wasn't prepared for it at all. Like, I was not prepared. And then on top of that, I was dealing with Ryder's health, and at that time, everything was so scary because it was something so new, something I've never heard of, and I wasn't sleeping.
When you say something you've never heard of, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Ryder got diagnosed with VLCAD 2 days after I brought her home from the hospital. And the way that it was initially explained to me, like the very first phone call I got about it was that they had received her newborn screening and it came back abnormal. We have to rush to take her back to the hospital to get blood work done. But that she had like a disease where it was like her stomach was eating itself out from the inside. And
the way they described it, it was so
sounds
terrifying.
Yeah. It was literally crazy when the way it was described, and it wasn't what they described is not anything near what she has.
Yeah.
So I was just on like serious high alert edge, like everything in me was in like survival mode. I think I was just like, I just have to take care of my baby. I have to keep my baby alive. Like that was my mindset. And throughout that process, I now looking back realize how, like, I never once stopped and was like, "Am I okay?"
Yeah,
if that makes
there was
sense.
no like self-evaluation or like self-check-ins. It was just like, let me just. It was like, one of those things where you just had to keep going.
It was almost like a robot. And I look back at pictures now, and I was as big as like a stick. I was so skinny. And then I talked to Zach about it right before I had Ace because we were talking about postpartum depression. And we Googled it together, like what are the symptoms and stuff. So there was like lack of appetite, fatigue, insomnia, crying spells, really, really sad, mood swings. The last one was like the resentment of your child. Zach looks at me and he's like, okay, you had all of those except the last one. And I'm like, how do you remember this? He's like, how do you not remember this? And I feel like this is something that you've said before, Shannon, is like you've had certain traumas and you've blocked certain things out. That is how I feel, because I genuinely don't remember. And he started listing all these times. He's like, I would wake up and you would just be sitting there sobbing. Aww. Or like, he's like, I remember us going to the store or like being at a Starbucks and I just look at you and you just break out and you're just crying and you couldn't explain like why you were crying. He's like, you got so skinny, like you weren't eating, but it wasn't like I wasn't trying not to eat. It's just I didn't think about eating. And I look back and I'm like, I don't remember this, but I think I'm blocking it out because it was such a low time for me personally, but still like a beautiful time because I loved Ryder. Mm-hmm. I just gave everything to Ryder and I don't think I had anything left for myself.
It was hard. Like, as your sister, it was really hard because it's like we can see it, but it's also sometimes you don't know how to, when someone's in a delicate stage like that, you don't know how to necessarily have these conversations or how to say
approach the person.
Hey, like, what's going on, you know? And I think we were all just in like go mode. Like, we didn't necessarily hesitate to just jump in. Like, we all took.
Because I look at pictures of myself and I'm action. Like, I look sick. Like, nobody in my head, I'm like, did anybody talk to me or like say like anything? And my mom is like, Shy, we were talking to you. Yeah. It just, it wasn't you.
It wasn't.
It's like, it was like talking to a shell of who you were. Mm-hmm. And
I can,
so with all that being said, Zach was like, you know, I don't want that to happen again. And I don't want like me having Ace to almost like trigger it, almost like PTSD. Like, he's like, I don't want, you know, what basically like what can we do so that it doesn't happen? So I think I touched on this before, how I have a like postpartum wellness coach kind of, I don't know what to call.
She's a doula as well.
I don't think you've touched on that. Or have you?
Maybe when I did on Ace's Arrival, okay. So basically after that conversation that we had together, I like started doing research on like things that I can do so that I can be like preventative towards my postpartum depression and for recovery. And I found this company, and it's a belly binding company, and not only do they like come in and like wrap your stomach, but it's a whole hour, and it's like meditation. We're talking afterwards. It's like a personal check-in, and you can have it. I wanted to do it without like the baby, without Ryder. If you don't have like someone there to help you with your kids, then you can do the session with your baby. Sometimes it's better for your baby to be in there because sometimes they just need your touch, you know, to be calm. And at first I was like really excited to do it, and then I got like real apprehensive to do it towards like the end of my pregnancy, just because I felt like I was having mom guilt, like I don't need this, you know, like I should be fine and stuff. Once I had Ace and I did my first session, I was so happy that I did it. So I started probably like 4 days after I had him. Well, 4 days after we brought him home. And the first one, she came in, she was really nice. We sat and talked for a while. I didn't feel like it was a rushed process where like they come in and they're like, take clothes off, like, let's just do this. It was like, she like wanted to like understand who I was and understand who I was as a mother and a person and stuff. And I think a part of me looking back is like, okay, she was trying to probably feel the vibe to see like if I was showing any symptoms or signs of anything.
What kind of do you remember what kind of questions she would ask you?
But it was like basic stuff, like how are you doing? You know, like how's it been? Are you sleeping? How are your breasts? Are you nursing? Like, how's his eating? How are you eating?
Did you answer those?
What'd you eat today? Like, are you drinking water? Where's your water? I don't see your water. It was like,
oh, okay. You know, so you're just trying to get in your space.
Yeah, get in your space, but not be like, hey, are you having symptoms of postpartum depression?
But kind of engaging by
can you
just
check
little
this
answers.
Box? Right. It was like little answers where I'm like, I know what you're doing.
It felt organic,
girl.
It was like an organic process.
It was definitely organic. So we talked for a while, and then like you're in your top and your bottoms. And she put an eye mask on me, and she's like, hey, now I need you to like just take some deep breaths, and she turned on meditation music, and then like the beginning is like this man talking, and like you get in like a Zen type state, and she picks something before each session. So like today we're gonna honor your womb and the womb that like carried 2 babies, and we're gonna focus on honoring your womom.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then she lights some Palo Santo.
Yes.
And if you know me, I hate Palo Santo.
I love it. And Cheyenne
I was about to say, don't you not like?
I hate it. I hate it so much, but she has made me grow
is she converting you?
I like it. I don't love it.
Okay, after Cheyenne had her first session,
I was like, she burned that stick that stinks.
Yeah, Cheyenne was like, you would love this. She burnt that stick that you love that I just don't like.
It smells like licorice to me.
I was like, Palo Santo, and she's like, yep, that's the one.
Yeah, so she's lighting that, I'm like, oh, we about to do some shit, and then she like spritzes some stuff in the air, and I'm like, and it smells good. She could have,
she could have what?
She could, taken me down, my eyes closed, and I was so damn tired, and it smelled good, and the man was talking, and I was like, yes, just touch me. Now,
good. She took you to like a very
to a very comfortable state, and
maybe Zach needs to do that.
Light some sticks and spray some smell goods.
Yes,
maybe. Okay. Maybe not. I still might be just falling asleep. That might put me in a whole nother mood.
She's gonna be like, well, you'll be relaxed at least.
I'll be asleep.
Okay, keep going.
So then after that, she starts with your stomach, and she like warms up her hands, and you can hear it, like her warming her hands up and stuff. And then she starts to massage your stomach. And 4 days after, you have a baby, your stomach is very swollen. You're still like sensitive, gushing stuff out of your body. Like
you feel like your organs are
and it felt so good because it was like almost like a lymphatic massage, like a drainage, and I think that's what it is probably, and it's full body. So she starts with your womb, and then she works her way to your arms, your neck. She focuses on like different points in your back because I was nursing, like the top of my breast, my head. She was pressing at the top of my head. I wear weaves, and I'm like, press harder, press through the braids. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, it feels good, but come on, girl, you're just touching the surface. Like,
Cheyenne at that moment was like, deeper.
I wanted to say, let me take this damn weave up my head so I can get this full head massage. And then afterwards, it was like we would talk, and she taught me how to wrap my belly, like with this really long cloth that they get, and I want to say from Malaysia.
Yes.
And my first session, she's like, by the end of this, you're gonna know how to do this yourself. And I was like, no, I'm not. I've now done 10 sessions, and I could wrap the shit out myself. And I felt it's really, really nice because when you start, it's with a really tight knot that's like right at your pelvic line, and then you pull up your stomach, basically. Oh. And then you wrap around. So I would feel like my whole entire like lower gut like lifting up. And then I had back support, and
it's good for your posture.
It's good for your posture. It's good for like reducing your bleeding faster. It just makes you feel like intact. It makes you feel like really good. And what I liked about it was that when I noticed the days where I was doing too much and I shouldn't be doing that much, it would start to unravel.
Interesting.
And like my little tummy would poke out little different areas. And I was like, okay, this is like my sign to myself to sit down.
I like that. And it's a good reminder.
It was such a good reminder. And one of the things that I got from my session with her was she said it's taken you like 9 to 10 months to create this life, and your body's gone through like this traumatic, beautiful experience. Now it's going to take you 9 to 10 months to heal from that. Like, give yourself that time to heal, not to like put pressure on yourself to have some perfect shape or to have everything back together how it was, but you need to take that time just to heal your body, and then you can start doing like whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Whatever the case,
I was privileged to sit in on a few of Cheyenne's, like the beginning parts of some of her sessions, and she described pregnancy within the woman's body, like it's like an injury. Yeah. And that was part of like that healing process. So it's like anytime you have an injury, you have to take care of that injury, and you have to let it heal, and you be mindful of it. And when she said that, I was like, that it was like one of the most prolific things I feel like I've heard in terms of how someone has talked about pregnancy and just like delivery and like just postpartum. And I was like, wow, like that's so true. Like our bodies literally have gone through this major transformation. Your organs get moved around. There's hormones are all over the place. Like sometimes your skin goes crazy. Your hair changes. Like you have hair loss. You lose hair. Yes. There's so much that goes on. And when she was like, it's like an injury that you now have to take care of, I was like, oh. And just being pregnant with my second child, I was like, okay, it gave me a whole different mindset in terms of looking forward to this my postpartum experience. And it also made me really happy to see you, Cheyenne, taking the time to actually do something like in terms of preventative care. And it made me even happier to hear that Zach was part of the conversation.
Right. I love that Zach was part of that.
You know, that's a part of that, being that supportive partner. And it's such a necessary thing that like he was mindful of it, and like he knows how your first experience was, your first pregnancy, and he got to see some of the postpartum. So it was just like, it really, like, as seeing Zach as a new father and like seeing him as your man, it's like that made me feel really secure about the situation, where it was like, okay, you know what, my sister she's being heard, and like she's gonna get the proper care that she deserves. But it's also just knowing that you have a partner who's like aware of the situation and who's supportive of it. Because I know there's some men who'd be like, you want to do what? Like,
isn't it with you?
You're gonna leave the baby with me for an hour? Like,
is she coming today? You getting wrapped today? You're doing it today? I'm like, well, dang. He's like, you're in such a better mood, like
after you have
those sessions, and like just that hour to yourself. Like it's like you come back.
It's like medicine.
Yeah, like you come back and you're like ready to, you're rejuvenated. Yes. So, it really, doing that really changed my postpartum experience this time. And they also do like virtual experiences so that you can like be taught how to like wrap yourself and do things virtually if you're not local. They have that also. So you guys can reach out if anyone wants the information. The other thing that I did to prepare this time is I created a postpartum recovery box. And when I say box, it was more of a...
You're looking for something?
It was huge.
What was the box?
It had so much stuff, y'all. So the bottom drawer had like clothes. So I got some postpartum leggings and shorts from Belly Bandit, and I love them. And it's like the ones that go all the way up from like all the way up to like where your bra line is. So I got some of those shorts. I got some of their leggings, and then I got like nursing bras. I put them in there. I put shirts that have like nursing abilities in there. I put a wrap in there. So like the bottom was all like clothing stuff, and then the middle section was all things for breastfeeding. So I had handheld pumps, I had breast pads for your bra for like leaky boobs, I have nipple covers, I have nipple cream. They have this thing now where it like heats up and you can put them on there from the microwave, and then I have one that's a handheld. And so it's all like boob and breast.
Got like
I got boob massagers. I got boob massagers. I got everything for my titties is in that box. That could be like, I'm going to the box. What you need? Like, and then the top drawer had all things that were like vagina geared. So a lot of products from Freedom Mom where they have like, I know with Ryder, I was making padsicles that I saw off of Pinterest. But now they have it where it's like all made for you. You shake the giant pad, you crack it, you shake it, and then it's cool.
The postpartum care in terms of products that are available.
Yes. That's like, how I feel. I'm like, where was this when I needed it?
I did not have any of these things with Ryder.
It wasn't there when I had Boz either.
So Freedom Mom has this whole step-by-step, like a step-by-step kit. if you guys are having a baby, I'm telling you, it's so worth your money to get it, because it took the hardness of it away.
Yes.
And it's
preparing for it. It takes all the thought process out of it.
So my top drawer has all of like the stuff for like vaginal care, different sprays, creams, cooling creams, tucks, cooling pads, like normal pads, and then like I got different kind of underwear that would work with different kind of pad shapes. The big ones, the ones. Like, I wanted to make sure that I can go to one place and find everything, because with Ryder, I didn't think of any of these things.
Yeah, we weren't. No. None of us were aware.
I was not prepared.
And I wasn't prepared. This time I over-prepared.
Never over-prepared.
I got so many pads left. I got so many pads, so many things left.
I'll take them.
I have so many things back there.
I got so many pads.
There's so much stuff back there. But I was really, really nervous this time, and I had a very different birth experience with Ace than with Ryder, so I didn't need half of the things. But I was prepared. I did my postpartum sessions. I think that really helped with me transitioning into having 2 kids. So second time around, I feel like I'm kicking postpartum's ass.
Cheyenne's been a completely different person. Like, it's been a night and day experience, and I think it's also really cool just watching her, because it's like she still has Ryder. She still is she's still a mother to another child, and I don't feel like you've missed a beat. Like, you're still taking Ryder to T-ball games. You're taking her to, her classes, her practices. And it's like, if you hadn't taken those steps to like do your postpartum care and take care of yourself in that way, I don't know if you'd be fully present in the way that you have been, just because you might, you'll be tired.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes that one little hour really helps. Makes a difference.
And don't get me wrong, I'm still tired.
I'm still tired.
Okay, but it's like, this is not all bubbles and fairies. No. I am exhausted half of the majority of the day. I still have a newborn.
I still balancing the 2 kids.
I still have bad days. Like, I still have days where I'm in the shower and I'm like, all right, get your crowd now, because when we go back out, you got shit to handle.
Right. Gotta put your mom face on.
After I had Ace, I had 4 days off from filming Teen Mom, and then I was right back doing it. Like,
they were knocking on the door.
Were they?
Yes. I haven't really had a break, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I had a break. I don't know what I would really do with it.
Yeah.
But I would say,
even with your social media, you still had posts to do.
Yeah. Right. Like, okay, that's our surprise when Cheyenne.
You're home now. Can you send this video? And it'd be like, okay.
I still have I have great days, guys, and I have days where I'm just like, I wish everybody would stop calling me. I wish I could just sit here. I don't want to film anything. I don't want to take a picture of anything. Right. I don't want to parent today. I don't want to make dinner. I don't want to look at Zach. I don't want to look at myself. Like, I think those days.
Moments are very fair.
Yeah.
And I think we should let people know that's very normal.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to feel that way, but also pick yourself back up out of those moments.
And sometimes it's hard to communicate if it is one of those days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like lately Zach is very conscious of, if I am okay. And there's days where he does say, like, are you okay? It's just in your face. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine. But inside I'm like, no, no, I'm not okay. And I just want to scream like, no, I'm not. Help me. But it's like, I'm like, yes, I am okay. I am great. I am doing fine.
I am happy.
I had gas. Like, I'm like making some shit up. He said last night, he asked me if I was okay. He said I just looked like something was bothering me. And I don't know. I couldn't really communicate if something was bothering me or not. But I was just really tired. And I felt like I had Ace most of the day. Ryder was at camp, but I was still doing pickup and drop-offs. And I still had, like, a lot going on, and I didn't feel like even explaining that to him. So I had said something like, I just ate too many tacos. Like, I ate too many tacos. And he was like, you've been having a lot of, like, issues with food lately. And I'm like, oh, have I been blaming all of my I'm not okay on food.
I'm eating too much. Cheyenne loves her food.
And I was sitting there like,
she said too many tacos.
Yeah, I'm like, I need to communicate that I'm tired and not,
so he can understand and maybe pick up some
and not deflect on food.
I feel like as women we do that often though.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to put our problems or our troubles onto somebody else, or feel like we can't handle it when we think we really can. Asking for help.
Yeah, and I don't like to ask for help.
Me neither.
I think I hate
asking for help. I feel like
normalize asking for help at times though. Like I think that is something that, especially amongst like Black women, like we've done so much independently, like historically, and it's like something that's like ingrained in our DNA now not to ask for help. So it's like it's always like we have to be this strong caricature, and it's like we always have to stay strong and we can do everything. But
I feel like I'm learning that like asking for help doesn't mean that I'm weak.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it doesn't at all.
I actually think it takes strength to ask for help because it's there's no ego. It's like your pride is you could still be a prideful person, but it's like you put that stuff to the side for a second to say, hey, you know what? Actually, I do need some help right now. And sometimes you asking for help, it's not necessarily saying, hey, can you do this? But it's like maybe sometimes another person could say, oh, you know what? Let's just organize this in a different manner. Yeah. Or like, let me do this because I have time, or I would like to, or,
I get that. I think the other night was the first time or the other day, and this was probably like, I think 5 or 6 days ago, and it was a long night. It was one of those nights where Ace went down around like 8 o'clock, and then he was back up at like 10, then he went back down, then he was back up around like 1, then he was back down, and then he was back up at 4, and then Ryder got up at 3, and I went and put her back into the bed. I felt like I was up every hour doing something
so you didn't sleep.
I didn't sleep, and Zach was sleeping like a goddamn king baby, and I wanted to just sock him, and to his defense, he would wake up for some of the wake ups and would reach over and be like, you okay? Do you need anything? And I'm just like, I'm fine. And he would just roll back over, where I know if I would have said, like, no, can you change Ace? He would have done it. Or, like, can you burp Ace? He would have done it. Or can you go put Ryder back in bed? He would have done it. But I didn't even want to have to ask. I wanted him to just do it. Yeah. So that morning when we got up, like, officially got up, he was like, what's wrong? You look bothered. And I'm looking at him like,
I'm tired.
I've been up. So I kind of lashed out and was like, I've been up for hours, playing, double dutch with these 2 kids. Yeah. And like, I'm exhausted. I'm not bothered. I'm tired. I need you to help me. And he's like, well, I asked. I'm like, I don't want to keep on having to like tap you or you roll over, and then it's like, well, can you do this? It's like, you see he needs a diaper change, so just get up and change his diaper. Take some initiative. So what he realized is that he smokes before he goes to sleep. So he's tired. Like, even if he wanted to get up, the marijuana in his body's like, nah, bro, we staying down. So
stay down.
Literally, it's like the little weed devil in his head is like, we're still high. Like, it's not gonna happen.
You said you wanted sleep. Here is sleep.
So he was like he stopped smoking, and so the past like 6 days, Zach has been like weed free.
Yes.
And
you go, Zach.
He has so much more energy at night that like now I'm sitting up nursing and he's sitting next to me and I'm almost like,
go to sleep.
Yeah. Leave me alone.
Zach is very proud of what he's doing, and I fully support it.
Love it.
And I just want to keep encouraging it. But I'm also laughing Zach, at this.
He's always had a midday nap, right?
Yes.
He's not doing midday naps anymore.
Really?
It's all because he stopped smoking.
Wait, the midnight
he has not taken a nap all week, and I'm like scared to bring it up, but he doesn't nap anymore.
Y'all.
And at night,
that's funny.
Zach is not my man, but I know this man needs his midday nap.
Not anymore.
And it usually happens after he eats. And if he does not eat and then nap,
He's grumpy.
He's like, I'll be like mad. Zach's not my friend today.
Yeah, no, he's not napping anymore. And at night when I'm waking up with Ace, it's like he's up. Like,
oh, I love
like,
to what hear are we this. Doing?
What are we doing?
Okay, like, can I go get a bottle? And I'm like, no, because then if he goes to get a bottle, then I would have to pump. And he's like, well, I wouldn't feed him. And I'm like, bro, go sleep. Where's the weed?
This is funny. There's almost like, you know, like
pop
women
in his mouth,
right?
The women have like a postpartum routine and care, but it's like men too, depending on what your lifestyle practices are. You kind of need to have like a little postpartum routine also, just so that you could be fully present, because it definitely takes a team. Like,
it's for sure a team effort. Because last night I was tired and I had to pee so bad, and like my peeing situation right now is not my friend.
It's tricky.
It's tricky. That's my what the fuck moment for this week. But I'm like nursing and I'm just counting down like, okay, little boy, hurry up and finish eating because I got to pee. So I'm like already looking over at Zach like, you ready? I'm going to hand him to you. Like, I was like so happy that he was not in a weird coma state of like weedness so that he could take the baby. And like, you also don't feel comfortable like handing somebody a baby when they're like half asleep. Like, I'm fine.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you want them to be just as up as you are.
Alert. Yes.
Yeah. So overall, my postpartum recovery and everything that goes with it has been really, really good this time.
That's great.
I love to hear that.
Think, can you give us kind of what you looked up when you were finding, like, what kind of keywords did you use to find your postpartum care?
Like, postpartum care suggestions. Okay. I literally Googled, like, postpartum care suggestions.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. And then, like, wellness coaches, postpartum therapy. And I really thought about doing therapy, like an actual therapist, you know. But when I found the belly binding one, I liked that it was like a therapist isn't about to sit there and touch you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. It was geared toward.
It was really geared towards like care also for your body,
for your womb,
not only like mental. So that's what made me gravitate to them. And I really, really like them. I feel like I like the company a lot.
Yeah,
I like that.
And I didn't feel like our sessions were rushed. Like, if there was a time, I remember there was one time, and the day was just not working how it was supposed to work. So by the time Tay had got into the house, I had not had a shower. Ace was not fed. It was just nothing had worked out. And our session was started like 1 o'clock. And I opened the door and I was looking at her and I wanted to just cry. And she was like, okay, so you're going to stop and feed the baby and then jump in the shower and then we're going to start. It wasn't like she was like, I don't care what you have going on, but I have a schedule, you know? And even after I did that, and then when we started the session, Ace was just still really, really fidgety and not happy with Zach. So she's like, okay, you're going to get up, go back out there, either bring the baby back in here or take a minute and put him down and then come back. So she was really
very patient with you.
Yeah.
Patient and compassionate to the fact that, like, I'm a new mom of 2. Mm-hmm. I'm in a new body, basically. I have a new baby. And you have to have patience to be in that environment. Mm-hmm. So I really liked that. I would definitely recommend anybody to do their services. But I think postpartum, the same way, like, every pregnancy is different, every delivery is different with everybody and every kid. Yes. All right, let's take a quick break, guys. And we're back.
And let's hear about your experience, Shannon.
So my experience, after having Parker, me and Parker's dad were together. While I was pregnant, we had a rocky start. During my pregnancy, he cheated on me. So I feel like just beginning there, even though I felt like I had a good pregnancy, it was an emotional pregnancy. And then after having Parker, my pregnancy experience was kind of rushed. My doctor, I feel like, was not compassionate, wasn't trying to help me through the whole experience. It was just kind of a rushed experience. Went to the hospital, I remember, on a Friday, got dilated, I slept there. I think after I slept at the hospital, was waiting for everything to kind of move and groove, because I wasn't even dilated that much during that time as well. So when I tell you, my doctor was like, let's get this baby out.
They had something to do that day.
Right. No, literally. I just feel like after that, my water broke. And then after that happened, like, things were moving along. I was getting dilated and everything like that. But then Parker, I guess his heart rate was going up really high. So I guess it might have pooped in me or something like that, because I had a really high fever, like of 105.
Oh, wow.
So I had a really high fever. They were trying to cool me down, trying to lower Parker's heart rate, and just everything was just like
getting chaotic.
Just chaotic, and there's just a lot going on. And so my doctor was like, well, he gave me like a quick spiel of like what could happen. He was like, well, you're dilated 7 centimeters, you can wait it out, but we don't know if everything's going to be all right when you deliver. Like, saying as if like something's going to happen to Parker or to me. So I'm sitting there like looking at my mom, my dad, and Robert like, what the hell? Like, what do I do? Because he's like, well, you could do it now. I'm about to leave, basically. So you can get a C-section right now, so you'll be fine, and your kid will be fine. And I'm sitting there like, what? Or wait around till you get wait on for an hour, and you don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah. So I'm sitting there. He left the room for like literally, you guys, for like 5 minutes. Came back in. Do you make your decision? I'm like, because the whole time I was so for, like I want to have a natural birth.
Yeah.
Like a vaginal birth, I should say, not a natural, because I needed the medicine to kick in. But a vaginal birth or whatever. And I cried because I was looking at Robert like, dude, we talked about this, but he was kind of just like talking me through. He's like, we never know what God has for us, what's planned. And I'm like, bro, I'm about to get cut open, and then 2 seconds later, I'm in the room getting cut open. I'm like screaming at the people because they were not even waiting for him to come in the room to get his scrubs on or whatever. They were just already burning me up, like opening up my stomach and popping out Parker.
When you say burning you up,
they take, it's like a laser. A laser.
I'm learning so much about cesareans right now.
So you
can smell it.
You could smell it. Mm-hmm. So when I was laying down, I couldn't feel anything because they had to give me 2 epidurals because like how Cheyenne, I could feel it still. So they gave me another one, especially because going into a C-section, they give you another one so you're just totally numb.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, hold on, my boyfriend's not in the room. Like, can we wait? Can you hold on?
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, I don't know if I was just in a moment that was the drugs hitting, but I was like, sing to me, please. He's like, what do you want me
Shannon went crazy.
I did go crazy. I was like, Robert.
Did I hear you say that Robert cheated on you after you had Parker?
No, while she was pregnant.
While I was pregnant and after.
I'm sorry.
While I was pregnant, it was really rough. It was one of those things that, the person's character already. You know that they're, not that faithful or whatever. But I still went through it because I think it was one of those moments like, I'm not, like Cheyenne, I'm not going to get an abortion right now. Like, I'm of age and I need to,
own my decision.
Own my decisions that happened to me. So, yeah.
So, do you think, like, you having postpartum depression after you had Parker, like, all of those things played a role?
I think a lot of them played a role.
Yeah.
I think after having Parker, I had a lot of trust issues. And then especially because when we got home, bringing Parker home was my parents' house. And so my parents are very old school to the point, you're not married to my daughter, so you can't sleep at our house.
Right.
So
the baby was all on you.
The baby was all on me. So literally when we brought Parker home, me and Robert were excited, like, okay, like you're coming in my room. Yeah. And my parents like, no, Robert needs to go home. He's not going to sleep in literally the first night. I was like, oh, you can't. Nope. You can go. Like, and the thing was.
What if y'all stayed in the living room?
I think that would have been okay. I mean, I don't know. But it was a really weird time. It was really weird and very uncomfortable because I'm bringing this baby home that I don't know how to take care of yet. Mm-hmm. And I need my significant other to help me out. Like, and especially because I just went through this crazy ass surgery that made me just feel like, I don't know. It was just a weird, I felt so uncomfortable in how to move my body again. So I needed him. Literally that night, I remember I was laying down in my bed. I guess my bed was too low and I could not get up. I could not get up because Parker was crying in the other room. I was like, oh shit, okay, get up. I couldn't get up because it hurt so bad to like lift my body. So that ended up me sleeping on the couch for about a couple of months because I slept like this, like on the couch with my legs out and Parker right next to me. So after that, Robert would sleep on the couch with me. But yeah, it was so hard. And I didn't want to. Robert offered up to come have me move with him into his apartment, but I was like, no. I didn't feel comfortable. It was literally a man cave, so it was dirty as hell. Everyone was smoking. Literally Jameson bottles everywhere. Like, that's not where I want to take my newborn baby. Like, I'm not trying to live there in a man cave. No, thank you. So it was one of my decisions to not have him there all the time, but
what were some of like your postpartum like symptoms?
So my symptoms were, I feel like I had all the ones that you named except the last one.
Resentment of the child.
Yeah, I was happy in the moment. I loved my kid. But one thing that I did find interesting, it took me I didn't resent Parker or like felt like I hated that I had a kid. But it was weird. I couldn't look Parker in the eyes for a really long time. Like, it was hard for me to look into, like, I feel like I looked into his eyes, but I don't think I, like,
felt it
and took it all in.
I feel like Parker has his dad's eyes. Like, I don't know if that would mentally play into it, but it's maybe just kind of like
something. Yeah, so it was interesting. I had
Cheyenne's like, let me visualize.
I'm trying to picture Robert.
I feel like Parker has his dad's like his eye shape. Yeah.
We both have very squinty eyes. But yeah,
Cheyenne's gonna look at Parker.
She's gonna look at Robert and then look at Parker and figure this out.
They do kind of have the similar
eyes. But that's interesting though.
But it was really interesting because I feel like I took a lot of, I feel like the being cheated on, I feel like then I had a lot of like balance of I'm here with my child and then trying to, which I look back on and I wish I didn't focus so much on what Robert was doing when I wasn't around. Mm-hmm. I wish I just focused on me and Parker and just my care with me and my child, what we were doing. And I feel like when he was like, I would always try to be on his schedule, on Robert's schedule. So like when you're done with work, oh, what are you doing after work? Are you coming to see me and Parker? Are you coming to do this? And then he would be out like for hours and hours on end after work, and I'm like, okay, well, me and Parker at home, even when he was just born, like, and I didn't even want to be around people. I didn't want people to come see me and Parker. People were like, oh, Shanan, I want to see the baby, I want to come visit. And even one of my friends came over and she looked at me, she said, you're not okay. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm perfect. But she was like, you don't look okay. Like, you look like you're a zombie. And I'm like, basically I am a zombie. And I feel like I didn't step out of my zombie zone and just going with the emotion zone until he was maybe 2. I don't feel like I knew who I was for the longest. I felt like I didn't know how to dress anymore. I felt like I didn't know how to even communicate with people anymore. I was just in this shell of a person. So
how'd you get out of it? Or like, is there anything that you can think of that like helped you?
That's a good question.
I went to church, to be honest. I did a lot of church. I did one. I remember Robert lived with us for a moment, and that was really hard because then I felt I was out of body experience. Like I would be waiting for him and not sleeping. Like, where are you? What are you doing? If he went to go smoke with friends, I'd be like, what's going on? Like looking out the window, waiting for him to come home. So I remember one day my mom was like, let's go to this women's seminar at work, at church, and let's just see what it's about. So it was a sermon about letting chains go. So, and then just letting shackles get off your body. So at that moment, I was crying. I really took the message in, and it just really, I came back home, and I remember Robert was watching Parker, and I just came home and I was like, it's okay. I was like, I understand that you're not happy here. I understand that you might have another relationship that you're in right now. And I was like, it's okay. I love you. But if we can't, and this was a process. I was probably just one step, but you
just acknowledged it.
I acknowledged it, and I was like, I just have to let these chains off of me. I have to let you free, and I have to let myself free so I can be awake a little bit. So I think a lot of church. I got a part of a mom's group in church, and it was called Fellowship. I think it was called Fellowship Moms or something. And every Wednesday, me and Parker would go to church, and he would go in daycare. Would give me a time to mingle with other moms, other new moms, and
that's good.
Figure out what they're going through. Yeah. Maybe that mom is struggling too. So it's just good to hear from other moms while you're going to depression. Like, oh, you're depressed too, girl. Like, it's good to know that you're not by yourself.
Even like having an adult conversation. I remember last week I was talking to one of my friends, and they're like, we're going to come by. Is that okay? I'm like, yes. And I'm like, I need to have a conversation with another adult. Like, I swear that would just make me feel better today.
Even sometimes conversations with people who aren't parents, I'm like, I get excited because I'm like, ooh, what are you doing in your life?
What's new? What do you talk about?
No, literally, like,
what's going on?
What is your day like? And I'll be like, wait, you did what? Like, yeah. And it's that's exciting. Like, I love having mom friends and talking to moms because it's like you feel like, oh, you know
relate.
What?
You can relate with each other. You can bounce off things.
Feel alone in your situation, but at the same time, it's so fun now where I'm like, wow, like. Yeah, single life.
Zayna told me she went out like last weekend to some brunch, and then she's like, yeah, and then after we went to this other place, and I'm sitting there like, I want to tell me more. How was the outside world treating you?
Literally, or it's kind of funny because then you start reminiscing, you're like, wow, I used to do this, and I used to do that. That's like, for me, I've been getting more like back into my hobbies. Like, it's you find your mom groove, and then it's like you slowly start to incorporate pieces of yourself that might have like been lost in translation during that change.
One of the things you said, Shannon, that I feel like is really, really, will be really relatable for people who watch or listen to the podcast was that acknowledging that you were so caught up in what Robert was doing that you weren't as caught up in like the feelings of being a mom or having a new baby and being a new mom and stuff. And I feel like I know I heard that and I'm like, I see that in people. I'm not leave it at that. I see that and it's like you acknowledging that is huge, but also, that is so relatable for so many of us when we're in these relationships or not in a relationship and you're so caught up in what the other person is doing that you lose focus of what you need to be doing.
Beautiful, precious being. You have a precious being in front of you, and you need to just let go. Yeah. Let go of, it might be your husband, it might be a boyfriend, it might be whatever, but you need to just refocus.
What they're doing.
What they're doing.
Don't be stuck on what they're going to do for you. It's like, I think sometimes if we just focus on ourselves and like...
It will all fall in place.
Yeah.
Because I for sure look back on that, and it makes me sad sometimes because I'm like, damn, like I wish I wasn't so worried about what somebody else was doing, and me just living in my bliss of being a new mom. And I don't get me wrong, because I for sure did everything, and my mom for sure tried to pick me up and just different things. But I've noticed that when I had Parker, I was just so worried about, like, Robert, are we going to be a family now? Like, you need to settle down. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I was just so worried about having a family, and for him to stop what he was doing or not, trying to change him. And you cannot change anybody unless they want to be changed.
Yeah. You can't force anybody to do anything. No. And I feel like fatherhood...
And having a baby, and having a baby with somebody is not going to change their character and who they are unless they want to be changed.
Right.
Facts.
Yeah. So don't think that a
baby's not a fixer.
Yeah, baby is not a fixer at all. If anything, it's gonna fall on you, and you're gonna go crazy. So don't go crazy, please.
I think sometimes their true character shows when you have a baby.
Right. Yes. And it might be nice after they have the baby, they might cry and be, oh my God, I'm a changed man, or whatever the case may be. And maybe they will be a changed man, but not everybody. Not everybody.
Not everybody's like that. No, I get that.
And then after a few therapy sessions, now I'm here 5 years later, and now I'm really realizing that you have to accept the person that they are. Mm-hmm. And you can't change anybody. So just accepting, I think one of the first steps is accepting that person of who they really are.
Yes.
And just looking back on yourself and loving yourself and taking that dust, whatever it's on the shelf, take it off the shelf of who you used to be, dust it off, and look at it again and be like, oh, this is who we are.
Yeah. I was looking at the time. What does that time say?
I cannot see.
I think there's like 10 minutes left on the card.
Kyle.
Okay. I feel like, well, first of all, thank you guys for sharing your experiences.
Of course.
I feel like I learned a lot from the two of you, just in so many different ways, because y'all had children before me. And another thing is, Shannon, I feel like you were one of the first people of our friends to have a baby. So it was also just in terms of having like that mom camaraderie, like you were the first one out there on the field, basically, which is difficult.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You were out the field. We were still in the streets.
In the streets. So I was in the streets, and
Okay, were you in the streets?
I wasn't really in the streets, y'all. But my pregnancy experience was, kind of a doozy. But it was still like a very beautiful process.
Can you explain what a doozy is?
I'll just share my pregnancy experience, and then it'll be like, that's a doozy.
Okay, you tell really long stories.
I'm gonna make it very short. I met Pa's dad. He was really nice. Everything was all good and cheery. I went out to DC for a week, and I was like, I'm not having sex with this person. I obviously did end up having sex with this person. And I came home, and a month later, I found out I was pregnant. At first, it was hard because I was like, I'm older. I'm of age now. Like Shanan said, like, I have to handle my responsibilities. Like, I put myself in this position. God has obviously blessed me, and now I'm going to see it through. He, on the other hand, was very much like abortion, blah, 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 blah. So I did my first pregnancy without a supportive partner. And I feel like that really just crushed me in a lot of ways. So I don't necessarily know if I had postpartum depression more than I was like depressed while pregnant, which was really hard. It was really hard for me. And It was one of those situations where like I was working in an environment with really positive, loving people who like lifted me up every day. My family lifted me up. I had seen my sister go through a difficult, pregnancy, and Cheyenne shared a lot of guidance, tools, tips, focus on yourself, just feed yourself, do what's good for you. And I did my best to stay there, but, nights are lonely, days are lonely. You can be in a room full of people, but that other person who you created this, like, spirit, this being with isn't there. Like, you literally feel like you're by yourself at times. So I definitely dealt with some, bouts of depression while I was pregnant. Once Boz got here, though, I was so in love and I was so happy. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I had some symptoms, but it's like I don't really necessarily feel like
you had it.
I don't think I had postpartum depression. And I was honestly surprised. I thought I was going to have postpartum depression just because my pregnancy was not what I wanted it to be, in that sense of like having, my family, and that being like, my partner. So yeah, I didn't really have postpartum. I also was like, I felt like I was just went in such like mom mode that I was just like, okay, what do I do for my child? Like, what do I need to do for my kid? And when Boz was 3 months, we went to DC together for the first time. And we met all of Mezier's like family, his cousins. I met his mom for the first time. So I literally felt like the girl who showed up on a doorstep with a baby.
Because you were.
Because I was. And like they're Nigerian.
We
so
did
I
not
was
send
like,
her by herself.
Oh, I didn't go by myself.
Me and Mom came, so we were knocking at the door
hold
too.
On. It was my
it.
mom.
She said, "Hold up."
Yeah. David came. I feel like Delana was there. Asia was there.
I had my friends pull up.
Yes.
We going to go meet this man and his big ass family. We coming.
What's up?
Oh no!
They were like,
"What's up, bro?"
You're going out there, but we want these people to know like that you are not alone. You have a family. You're not like some desperate girl.
No, we came out and Mom and I were like, try it.
Yes.
And everything is copacetic now, so nobody get offended. But we definitely came out with like some force. Like, what? We are here too.
Like, we weren't physically packing, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, we was packing.
We got her and we got this baby.
And it was one of
Who
those,
has something to say?
Yeah, it was one of those things where regardless of his involvement or his family's involvement, like Boz was going to be well taken care of no matter what. And I think just knowing that, it kept me in a good place. And it was like, let me just focus here. And I really took that to heart because it was like, okay, it's just me and this kid now. And he was such a bundle of joy to me, and everything that was in me was just like love. Just love, just keep giving love, do things out of love.
We wanted his family to understand
I wasn't some random
that she was not just some girl that didn't have a family support or just came from who knows where. Because to them, it looked like,
I was the girl who showed up with a baby.
Yeah. Basically. But we wanted her to be the girl who showed up with the baby and a family. That made sense. Like, we kind of wanted... I think
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but at the same time, we saw that if this was going to be a frequent thing of Kyle bringing the baby to D.C., we also wanted to come and check them out and know where
he was.
Where are you going?
Right, where are you going? Who are these people? Who is he?
That was more so. That was my postpartum experience. It was more so geared around like, who did I have a kid with? And the future was so questionable, and it was just like I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know what was going on. And just naturally, it was like, okay, you know what? Let me figure out my family. Are we going to be a family? What's going to happen? So I know some of my focus was on that. And that is why I took so much time to go to DC. At the same time, I was also trying to learn these people. Like, who's my kid gonna be around? Like, even if things don't work out, like, what do you guys talk about? Like, who are you as people? What is your lifestyle? Like, you know, how do you operate as a family? Mm-hmm. So I think that was really kept me going, was just like the uncertainty of the future, not just for me, but for like my child. And yeah, I had my depression while I was pregnant. I don't know what stopped it. I don't know what snapped me out of it. I wish I could provide more information there.
I feel like a lot of people are going to be curious after like listening to you kind of explaining like that situation, mm-hmm. how you went from like, we've jumped from like you being pregnant with Boz and like knocking on that door saying hello to now having a second kid.
Yeah.
You got to fill in the gap.
I feel like we might have to do another episode just like on my story, but just in short, just going back and forth to DC, like things evolved, but it didn't go anywhere. Like, also, I feel like my mistake was we still had sex. Like, obviously. But yeah, it got to a point where we started having like a sexual relationship again.
So you guys liked each other?
I thought so. Like, I like him. I thought he liked me. Like, I don't really know.
Did you guys like each other, or did you like?
It wasn't a sexual relationship. Sexuality. No, it was not like just like we out here having sex. Like, that was never.
So going back and forth from LA to DC, that built a relationship.
And just like in the time that we actually spent together, like as a family unit, the three of us, like we spent a lot of time together. Like in that apartment, it was just the three of us, and everything we did was focused around Boz and like the three of us. You know, we're cooking, we're doing activities together, we're buying toys and playing with Boz. Like, it created a different type of bond. And it's like, I think for me, I saw a lot of potential there. And it wasn't just, oh, like, okay, here's this person, you're a piece of shit, you weren't there when I was pregnant type stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was like, oh, you're actually like, you're decent, you're cool. Like, I got to know him better. And it was like, just that, the fact of spending time together, as, you know, just the three of us, it built like a sense of security and like,
a family unit.
Yeah, it was like we were operating, when we were there, we were a family. And the other thing is, like, once Boz was born, you know, we talked every day. Like, there was FaceTimes when I wasn't in DC, we were on FaceTime. And there would be times where my family would talk mess because Boz is a baby. He's not moving or saying anything. Oh my God,
it was so annoying. We'd be in the middle of dinner and look over and he's just propped up on the phone, right? The phone is just like this, and we look over and we're trying to have a conversation.
I feel like that's still the case
and he's right here. I used to be like, Kyle,
can you hang up the phone?
Like, hang up. This is weird. Like, he would just sit on the phone, and half the time I'd look, he's not even looking at the phone. Like, no. He's just
but it's like
about his day.
He would want to be on the phone, and there's times where I'm like, stupid. Yeah, they were like, y'all are weird.
It was so weird.
But it's like, even to this day, like, there are daily FaceTimes, and there's times where it's like, I walk away, Boz walks away, and he walks
on
away.
The phone. You'll be like, oh, hey, man.
Right, it's like, what's up, bro? How's it going? It's so interesting. I'm just going to say it's interesting.
It really is. I've experienced it.
I don't know what's going on. But yeah.
So I feel like I hear a lot, like you say a lot, like the three of us. But I think it's probably like I don't know, from an outside opinion, it was like you and Mez, everything happened it escalated from like 0 to 100 in like
1,000
to in like this. Like there was no time. Yeah. So it's not like you like had time to date or time to get to know each other and stuff, or like, you know what I mean? So going from nothing and then, hey, we have a kid together.
Let's be a family.
And
it wasn't even like, let's be a family. It was like, let's get to know each other. He wanted to be around Boz. I needed help because I had a newborn. Yeah. Like, and in my mind, I'm like, you know, the sons need their fathers. And it was also, let me get to know you, because even if we did not, you know, we're not working out, we're not together, I knew there would come a point in time when Boz would be in DC without me. So it was also like,
but I'm saying, I got all that. Okay. I'm saying that it's the hard part, the difficult part
was separating
the two of you and Mez being in a relationship or having a relationship, and then you and Mez as parents to Boz. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like you had anything to fall back on, or like a foundation of like, this was our relationship, you know, as opposed to like, now you just jump in and all you know from each other are being parents.
We're parents.
You know what I mean?
So it's like now even like, you know, I'm pregnant again by the same person and in the same situation, the same predicament. And it's, this will be treated very different from like my first experience. So in terms of me flying to DC with a newborn and like the Boz will be 3, that's not happening. Like, I'm not doing that. I put the time to come out there. I made the adjustments in my life to do things, and just now understanding kind of like what I did to almost have this like, oh, I want this family unit just because that's what I see, or like that's what I expect, or that's what we're taught.
Taught.
And I've had to let go of that idea. And it's like when I decided to stay in LA and I wasn't moving to DC, when I was in my early stages of my pregnancy, I started going to therapy, and I've gone to therapy every week since.
For your second.
My second pregnancy. I'm like, let me do this way different. Like, I don't want to feel this sense of depression. I don't want to. It's almost like that preventative care. Right. Like, let me do the work now.
Which is so really that good.
I'm not, you know, going through this in a fog and a daze and then being like, oh no, what happened? Yeah. So I have therapy every Saturday. I have not missed a session. And I've been going for the last couple months. It's been the greatest thing ever, because it's like, I need it. And it helps just because I'm in a difficult situation, and I'm going through changes that I don't feel like, part of it I've been prepared for, but there's a part where I'm like, I want to heal. Like, I'm one of those people where it's like, I want to heal. I want to heal. It's not like, oh, let's just move through it and like, oh, that happened. But I'm like, I've learned that I bottle up my emotions and then like I explode. And like, I don't want to explode anymore. Like, I don't want to feel like I have no control over myself or like what I'm doing. So it's, I'm very thankful that I'm taking my mental health differently this time around, and it's and
you're handling it differently. I mean, it was hard from like
just
your
watching
family aspect and with the Boz situation, watching, because we didn't agree.
Yeah, they were like, why are you giving this person so much?
Taking this baby all the way to DC and basically putting her life on hold.
I stopped my life, honestly, and I had to refigure and change things to accommodate.
And it wasn't reciprocated, and we all saw it, and it's like we're screaming at her, like, stop, like, stop what you're doing and just focus on the baby, focus on yourself, focus on your career, like, stop traveling so much, because it's not like she would go here and then he would come. It was just like a one-way situation.
He would only come for like, the most he used to come to was like 3 days, and that's like the day he flies in, a full day, and then like he flies out.
So it was hard. It was hard to watch,
and I understood that. I knew, like, I can't say that I was not aware of what was going on, you know, if there's one thing,
you just were letting it.
committed to trying to make it work.
Yeah,
like
oops. Yeah,
I mean,
so
it's not an oops. It's not an oops.
Oh, I learned it was.
I think that an oops, I think that it could have been. Of course, we can all sit here and say this could have been handled differently, like about anything in our lives. But at least now you see that.
I'm aware and
aware of what you don't want to happen this time around.
I've also had to accept who is this person, and it's now when I like, even in like my therapy, it's not even like, oh, how do I fix a situation? I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm not trying to change anything. I'm just like, I'm almost going through like, I am going through a grieving period or a grieving phase of like this idea of what my family unit looks like. Or like how it would be started. It's not to come, because trust me, I'm gonna have a loving man in my life who accepts me and my situation and who totally embraces my children, and he's gonna be the role model, the mentor, the active parent, that I seek in my life. Like I know my blessings are coming. Like God's not done with me. Like Allah got me. Like I am still on my path. But I just have a few little hiccups on the way there.
A few little hiccups.
And guess what? I've always wanted to be a boy mom, and I'm having 2 sons. So it's like at the end of the day, like I still feel like I'm winning, It's not necessarily what I thought it would look like. It's not what I thought it would
it's still a blessing. Having a baby is a blessing.
It's a
Being
huge
able to
blessing.
get pregnant is a blessing.
To be healthy and all those good things.
Yeah.
There's so many positive things that I feel like have come out of all of our situations.
Yes.
But of course, and nobody's situation is perfect. I mean, we could have the most perfect man with the most perfect house and the most perfect baby, and there could still be some fucked up shit that's happening. Like
crazy.
Something.
There's always going
a little
to be
something that's gonna.
If it's not one thing, it's another.
Exactly.
And that's also something I've come to learn. So it's just, I've been through this whole process, I've just embraced myself more, and I feel like I've always been a compassionate person, but now my compassion is growing towards different situations. And it's like people sometimes may be judgmental, and I'll be like, actually, hold on, like think about it this way. So it's like I've been able to help put things in perspective for others, because now people who relate to me or know me or have a relationship with me, they're like, I'm one of those people. So it's I don't know if I said that to make if it makes sense.
Confused.
Wait, one of those people I
have friends who've been like quick to say something about single parents or moms who like, have had pregnancies with men who they may not necessarily know, and they'll be like, like, hey, I'm one of those people. So it's like,
chill out.
It's not even chill out, but it's like,
chill out.
I'm me.
Just kidding. Chill out. But it's like,
you knew your baby daddy.
I knew my baby daddy really well.
It's I'm able to shed like different light on it.
Still
too.
Judging you. I don't know who we should judge more at the table. The one who didn't know or the one who did know?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like there's a meme that goes around, and it's like talks about like girls who like have, second kid by the baby daddy who ain't really there, and I'm like, that's me. And before I used to be like, dang, like what are those girls doing?
Why would you do that?
Didn't you learn?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, I learned my lesson. But it's you
didn't learn your lesson yet.
Oh, no, I didn't learn my lesson. I'm still in that process.
No. I'm processing.
I am still processing. I'm still on that, that uphill journey, but it's
coming.
It's coming. Yeah. And it's I feel happy that I'm like releasing these ideas and these feelings, and like the whole grieving process. I had to do the same
thing after I had Ryder.
Yeah, the grieving process is crazy. But at the same time, it's been so rewarding, like the last couple months of my life. There have been so many changes that have come up. And it's like these changes and these blessings that are coming my way I would not have been able to receive them if I had moved to DC. Would not be able to receive them if I was still like, but this is my family, y'all. Like, I just feel like it was almost a distraction, I don't feel like I necessarily let it take me away from being like the mom I wanted to be and strive to be, but it definitely did take away from me and my focus. So I'm just happy to kind of like realign my focus and just focus on being present in this pregnancy and, you know, just being a good mom to Boz. And I'm going to take care of myself postpartum. Like, I'm really proud of Cheyenne finding this postpartum care specialist.
Yeah, you should do it.
Because I am going to do it.
I want to do it.
Yeah.
Just kidding, you guys. I'm not getting pregnant again.
Okay.
You will one day.
Shanan.
I believe in it.
Throw something into
you know. It's happening. But it's, yeah, so that's a little bit more of my story. I know I got a little sidetracked from just postpartum.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right,
It's okay, girl.
We will always continue this conversation because I feel like talking about postpartum recovery, depression, the 4th trimester is just so important.
Yes.
You know, I want to reach out to a few people and see if we can get some of them on the podcast.
Yeah, I think it'd be
amazing.
Great to get Tay, who actually did your postpartum care, to come in and talk with us.
Yeah, she had to rub all this jelly.
Yeah.
No, but I think we should finish. We should wrap this one up today. I feel like this is going to be one of the longer talks.
Ones, yeah.
But it's worth it.
Yeah. But you guys let us know if we should continue this talk. We definitely feed off of your feedback and your comments, and whether that's positive or constructive criticism, we want it all. We're trying to make sure that this is an open line of communication from us to you guys. So I do appreciate all of our listeners and new subscribers, and everybody who has been super engaging with us. We definitely read everything.
Yeah, we do.
No, I appreciate it a lot. It's really doing a podcast and be able to share my life story or just sharing that all is so new to me. So I appreciate the comments and just feedback, and I really take that all in. So I appreciate you guys just rolling with me during this time.
And I think you're doing great, Shannon.
You are. I think that's like kind of like what the meaning of like think loud is to us.
Yes.
Like, we have all these thoughts and normally we have them to each other, but now it's like, no, like, let's actually talk about it
out loud with other people.
Out loud.
Because we for sure, I think that's how we started it, because we're so, we feed off each other and we feed off of just life experiences. So usually I think inside my head a lot and I don't say it out loud. So it's hard for me to like say it out loud now. And this is what the podcast is about, to share our experiences and giggle with each other and just live life. But I love this. It's fun.
Me too. I need this. It's my second therapy session of the week.
Jesus Christ. Well, all right, guys. Thank you for listening. As always, you can follow us at Think Loud Crew on Instagram. You can catch us on all of the podcast platforms. And you can follow me personally at Shy Not Shy.
And you can follow me at Hair by Shanan C, and I'm Shanan Kablian.
And my name is Arkyle Lynn, and you can follow me at Arkyle Lynn. And guess what? Cheyenne totally forgot about her WTF moment that she was going to share with us, and I still want to hear about it.
Oh, dang. What was it?
It has to do with her peeing.
Oh, my God. Yes. Okay.
Her peeing?
Yes. Okay, so...
What's a peeing?
No, peeing.
Oh, her peeing.
Yes. All right. So since I had 2 kids... So I was talking to someone, they're like, make sure you start doing your kegels because every time I laugh, I pee a little bit. And when I sneeze, I pee a little bit. And I was like, all right, you know, I'll do my kegels. But I wasn't really thinking about doing my kegels. So the other day, I was actually in the bathroom, but I wasn't using the bathroom. I was just like doing my hair and stuff. Or Ryder might have been using the bathroom. I don't know. I was in the bathroom, but not on the toilet. But you know when you get that first inclination, like, oh, I have to pee, but it's not like I got to pee. It's like I just have to pee. You know, it's like it's coming. Like I can go now. I can go maybe in 20 minutes. You know. So I was there, like the very first thought of me having to pee, and I'm telling you this because I need you to understand. It's not like I had to pee.
She hadn't been holding it.
Yeah, I have not been holding it. It was like the first thought. So I'm standing there and I sneeze, right? Bro, I peed on myself. It wasn't like a trickle.
And you were standing up.
So was it a gush?
Oh, right. No. It was like a full-on pee. I had to change my pants. I had to shower. Like,
oh, you had pants on? It was just like...
It was like sneeze, achoo, pee. Like it was like same time. It just shot out. Like, the sneeze shot out. And I'm standing there, and I'm like...
I'm happy you were home.
I'm like, I wasn't. This was in Temecula.
Oh.
Well, I guess I was in Airbnb.
But
right.
still,
but you were still out. But that leads me to my next WTF. So I'm like standing there and I'm like, did I fucking pee on myself? Like, what is this? And I'm like, oh my God, I peed myself. And I'm just like in shock that I peed myself. And I'm like,
can you say I peed myself one more time?
I peed myself. And I'm like, I gotta do my kegels.
Do you start?
So every day now, like even when I'm in the car, I'm like, kegel. Like,
what is doing it right now?
Is it like you?
Like,
it's you're contracting.
Wait, not your whole body. Don't contract your whole body. Jesus Christ.
In relation to Cheyenne's WTF moment, my advice of the week would be to invest in a yoni egg. So
this is my moment. You can give your advice after. My moment's not done.
Oh, are you still peeing on yourself?
Yes.
Oh, excuse me. Let me retract my statement.
You can give your advice in 2 seconds.
Pause.
So yesterday, we're in the car, right? And I drank this whole thing of water. And I got the same little thing in my head that's like, all right, time to pee. Oh my God. Normally Zach drives like a bat out of hell anyway, but yesterday for some reason with Ace in the car, he's driving like fucking Grandma Lucy, like just and I'm like,
that makes me happy.
I'm like, I have to pee, Zach. He's like, okay. And I'm thinking like, I didn't tell him I peed myself the other day. So I'm like really thinking like, oh my God, like I need him to drive faster. And it was like the closer we were getting to my doctor's office, the more I could like you when you
had to pee.
Yeah, you know when you see the toilet, it's like, whoa, gotta go. Like
sometimes you can't get your pants on.
My
doing that dance.
The dance was happening. So like the closer we were getting to the office, like the more and more I had to pee, and then I had to sneeze, and I am literally holding my legs together like this, trying so hard. I'm pressing my tongue to the top of my mouth so I don't have to sneeze. I'm literally like, please don't pee yourself. Please don't pee yourself. Right? And like I do the little and like to sneeze. Oh, I felt a little trickle, and I'm just like, it's happening.
You had a bridesmaids moment.
Oh my God! Right. So I'm literally sitting in the car like, fuck, I peed myself again.
Was it all over the seat?
It was just a little pee this time.
It was just a little pee.
Oh my God.
Poor Shanan. I ran in the doctor's office, and the lady was like, halfway screaming at me like, we don't need a sample this time. I'm like, I gotta pee.
I have a sample for you.
You ain't gonna get one.
Yeah, so I beat myself twice this week. Hey, WTF. Now, what's your advice, Kyle?
Okay, after I had Boz, someone gave me the same advice. Make sure you do your kegels, do all your pelvic floor exercises so that you can tighten your
pelvic floor.
Tighten your pelvic walls. So I was like, okay. You're funny.
I really do.
So I went on Instagram and the internet and I was like, how do I do this? And I found, that's when I started using my yoni egg. So I got a yoni egg and basically it's like, I'll share it one day. You don't even know what it is. Yeah. Do your own research.
Yeah, everyone look up a yoni egg.
And you could do your kegels with your yoni egg and it helps strengthen your vaginal walls. And you could do like, what?
I'm not saying anything.
I'm just laughing because she was about to go into detail about what a yoni egg was. She said, how do I do this?
Yeah. Let me retract since I overshare over here. But yeah,
I'm just
get
saying,
a yoni egg.
Tell them to get a yoni egg and y'all get your own.
Be happy.
I'll do a post where I share some different yoni eggs.
Not yours. We don't want to see yours.
I'm not going to put a picture of mine.
She totally would. So is that your advice for the week?
Yeah. Get a yoni egg.
All right. My bad. What's
and
up,
look
Shanan?
up
What you got?
postpartum
I got nothing.
care.
You got WTF? You got some advice?
You want to tell us something good that happened this week?
Or something bad? Yeah. You're growling.
Shit.
Shanan forgot her purse today.
Oh my God. That's your WTF moment.
Oh, yes. Okay. So
what?
Today, I forgot my purse. I was so excited. I came all the way to LA, super excited about getting Hilltop. Looked down on the floor, all around in my car, and I had no purse. And luckily, I called Kyle. Kyle right at that moment, Kyle called me. She was like, "Hey, girl, you could come to LA early." And I said, "I'm already here." But guess what? I don't have a purse. So she's the best. She came and saved me and bought me some food and some coffee because she said, "Are you hungry?"
And it was crazy because I was literally a block away.
I'll be there in 2 minutes.
I was a block away from Hilltop.
And I got my coffee, you guys, because I really needed coffee. Yeah. It was one of those moments.
You needed your purse.
Well, exactly. So now I'm without a purse, but it's all right.
And she keeps reaching for it that she doesn't have it.
I was so excited to put some chlorophyll and some ashwagandha in my water, but guess what, you guys? I can't do that because I don't have a purse.
She was like, "Oh, I'll give you some chlorophyll." I was like, "Yay!" And then she said, "Oh, never mind. I don't have my purse."
So that's how my day is going. Okay. I'm purseless.
Thank y'all.
You're purseless. I'm Peanut myself, and Kyle's advertising Yoni eggs.
Yoni eggs.
All right, this was a good talk, y'all.
Thank you.
Don't
forget to listen and follow us on the Think Loud crew. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.